The massive alien ship moved through space like a dark mountain. Admiral Kethver stood on the bridge, his forearms crossed behind his back. His purple skin gleamed under the bright lights. He had been conquering worlds for 300 years. Earth would be easy, he thought. "Sir, we are approaching the third planet," said Commander Veltar. She was smaller than the Admiral, but her voice was clear and strong. "The humans show no signs of advanced weapons." Kethver nodded. His yellow eyes studied the blue planet on the main screen. It looked peaceful, too peaceful. No energy shields protected it. No giant weapons pointed at his fleet. The humans seemed helpless. "How many ships do we have?" he asked. 212, sir. All ready for battle." The Admiral smiled. His sharp teeth showed. "Good. Send the surrender message." "Give them 3 days to decide." Far away, near the giant planet Jupiter, Captain Jake Morrison sat in a small space station. He was 35 years old, with brown hair and tired eyes. He had been watching the empty space for 5 years. Today was different. "Captain, you need to see this," said Lisa Parker. She was the communications officer. Her hands shook as she pointed at her screen. "Something big is coming." Jake moved to her station. The screen showed hundreds of red dots moving toward Earth. Each dot was huge, bigger than any building on Earth. "How long until they reach us?" Jake asked. 6 hours, maybe less," said Ben Hughes. He was the navigator, a young man with black hair and smart eyes. "Sir, these ships are massive. I have never seen anything like them." Lisa tried to contact Earth Command. The radio crackled with static. "Earth Command, this is Jupiter Station. We have an emergency. Please respond." The voice that came back was calm but worried. "Jupiter Station, this is General Patrick Stevens. We see them too. Stay at your post and keep watching." On Earth, people looked up at the sky. They could not see the alien ships yet, but they felt something was wrong. Dogs barked. Birds flew in strange patterns. Children cried without knowing why. Dr. Amy Collins worked in a laboratory in New York. She studied space signals. Her computer started beeping loudly. A message was coming from space. The words appeared on her screen in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Empire. You have 72 hours to surrender your world. If you fight, we will destroy everything. This is your only warning." Amy's hands went cold. She read the message again. Then she picked up her phone and called the president. Admiral Kethver watched as his message was sent to Earth. He had done this 47 times before. Most planets surrendered without a fight. The smart ones did, anyway. "Sir, shall we begin?" "Scanning their military bases?" asked Veltar. "Yes. Show them we know where their weapons are. Fear makes them surrender faster." The alien ships sent invisible beams down to Earth. In seconds, they found every army base, every weapon, every hiding place. The humans had guns and bombs, but they were like toys compared to the Empire's power dot in the Pentagon. General Stevens looked at the reports. The aliens knew everything. They had found missile bases in Montana, submarine fleets in the Pacific, and secret weapons in underground bunkers. "They know where everything is," said Colonel Susan Wright. She was head of space defense. "Our best weapons are useless against their technology. What about nuclear weapons?" asked another officer. "They probably have shields that can stop anything." "We throw at them," Susan replied. "We are dealing with a civilization that has conquered dozens of worlds." President Helen Rodriguez sat in the Oval Office. She was a strong woman with gray hair and kind eyes. But today she looked very worried. Her advisors filled the room. "Madam President, we need to evacuate the cities," said the Secretary of Defense. "Where would people go?" she asked. If they can destroy whole planets, nowhere is safe. Outside, news reporters told the world about the alien threat. People in every country watched their televisions. Some prayed. Others packed bags and tried to leave the cities. But most just waited. Captain Morrison continued watching the alien fleet. The ships were beautiful and terrible. They looked like giant crystal flowers, but he knew they carried weapons that could burn whole continents. "Sir, they are slowing down," said Ben. "They are stopping near the moon." Jake nodded. "They want to show us their power. Make us afraid." Before they attack, Lisa received another message from Earth. "Jupiter Station, this is Dr. Richard Kane. I work for the government. We need you to watch the aliens closely. Record everything they do." "Why?" Jake asked. "Because we might have found something. Something they do not know about us." Admiral Kethver felt confident. His ships surrounded Earth's moon. The humans had sent a few small rockets toward them, but they were too slow and weak to matter. "Sir, we are receiving many messages from Earth," said Veltar. "They are asking us to leave. They say they want peace." The Admiral laughed. "They all say that. In 3 days, they will surrender. Then we will take their resources and put them to work." But something felt different this time. Kethva had conquered many worlds, but the humans seemed too calm. Most species panicked when they saw the Empire's fleet. The humans were scared, but they were also doing something else. They were waiting. Dr. Collins worked through the night. She studied the alien ships and their signals. Other scientists around the world did the same. They shared information and tried to understand the enemy. "The ships use quantum energy," she told her team. "But there is something strange about their signals. They are not scanning us the way we would scan them." "What do you mean?" asked her assistant. "They are looking for weapons and armies, but they are not looking for other things. Important things." As the first day ended, both sides prepared for what would come next. The aliens were confident in their power. The humans were afraid, but not ready to give up. In secret laboratories around the world, scientists worked on projects that had been hidden for years. Projects that might change everything. The countdown had begun. General Patrick Stevens walked into the deepest room of the Pentagon. The walls were thick concrete. No sound could get in or out. 20 military leaders sat around a large table. Their faces looked serious and worried. "The situation is bad," Stevens said. "The aliens have 200 ships. Each one can destroy a city. Our weapons cannot reach them." Colonel Susan Wright stood up. She was tall with short blonde hair. "I have run the numbers. Our missiles are too slow. Our jets cannot fly in space. If we fight, we will lose." "What about our nuclear submarines?" asked Admiral Robert Cole. He was old and had many years of experience. "They can hide underwater, but they cannot shoot into space," Susan replied. "We are fighting an enemy we cannot touch." The room was quiet. Everyone knew the truth. Earth's armies were strong, but they were made for fighting other humans, not aliens from space. Meanwhile, President Helen Rodriguez prepared to speak to the world. Her speechwriters had tried many times to write something hopeful. But what could she say? How do you tell 8 billion people that aliens want to take over Earth? She stood in front of the cameras. The whole world was watching. "My fellow humans," she began, "we face a threat unlike any in our history. An alien empire wants us to surrender. They have given us 3 days to decide." In living rooms around the world, families watched their leader. Some children cried. Parents held them close. "We will not give up without a fight," the president continued. "We will defend our home." But everyone knew the truth. Earth's weapons were toys compared to alien technology. Dr. Richard Kane sat in his laboratory in Colorado. He was a thin man with wild gray hair. His job was to study impossible things, things that most people said could not exist. His phone rang. "Dr. Kane, this is Dr. Maria Santos. You need to come to New Mexico right now." "Why? What is happening?" "We found something. Something about the aliens. Something they do not know. About us." Kane grabbed his coat and ran to his car. He drove through the night to reach the secret facility in New Mexico. The building looked normal from outside, but underground were laboratories that worked on the strangest projects. Dr. Santos met him at the door. She was a young woman with dark hair and excited eyes. "Richard, remember your work on quantum consciousness? The project everyone said was crazy?" "Yes, but what does that have to do with aliens?" "Everything. Come and see." They went down many floors. At the bottom was a room full of computers and strange machines. Dr. Paul Griffin was there, a quiet man who rarely spoke to anyone. "Paul has been working on something," Maria said. "Show him." Paul touched a button. The machines hummed to life. Numbers appeared on screens. "I have been studying the quantum field around Earth," he said. When the aliens arrived, something changed. Kane looked at the data. His eyes grew wide. "This is impossible. The quantum field is shifting. But that should not happen unless ... Unless what?" Maria asked. "Unless human consciousness is connected to something bigger. Something that exists in multiple dimensions." The three scientists stared at each other. They had discovered something that changed everything. Above them, the alien fleet waited near the moon. Admiral Kethver was getting impatient. He had expected the humans to surrender by now. Most species did after seeing the Empire's power. "Sir, the humans are moving their armies," said Commander Veltar. "They are not surrendering. Let them move," Kethver said. "Their weapons cannot hurt us. Tomorrow we will show them what happens to those who resist." But the Admiral did not know about the secret meeting happening below the Nevada desert. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials gathered in a hidden bunker. "What are you telling us?" asked General Stevens. He looked at Dr. Kane with confusion. "I am telling you that humans are not normal," Kane said. "We exist in multiple dimensions at the same time. Most of the time, we cannot feel the other versions of ourselves. But under extreme stress, the barriers can weaken." "That sounds like science fiction," said Colonel Wright. Dr. Griffin spoke up. "The quantum field does not lie. When the aliens arrived, they created stress across all of humanity. This stress is affecting the dimensional barriers around Earth." "What does that mean?" asked President Rodriguez. "It means there are other versions of Earth, other versions of us. And some of those versions are very different from us." The room was silent. The idea was too strange to believe. "Show them," Dr. Santos said. Paul turned on a large screen. Strange images appeared. They looked like Earth, but wrong. In some images, the continents were different shapes. In others, the oceans were red instead of blue. "These are other dimensions," Paul explained. "Other versions of reality where human history went differently." "And you can see them?" asked the president. "We can do more than see them. Under the right conditions, we can contact them." General Stevens shook his head. "This is crazy. Even if it is true, how does it help us fight the aliens?" Dr. Kane smiled for the first time in days. "Because in some of those other dimensions, humans are not peaceful. In some of them, humans are the ones who conquer other worlds. The implications hit everyone at once. If they could contact these other versions of humanity, they might learn how to fight back." "What do you need?" asked the president. "Time and power," Kane replied. "We need to build a quantum resonance generator. It will let us peek into other dimensions and show the aliens what they are really dealing with. How long will it take? 18 hours. Maybe less. The president looked around the room. Do it. If this does not work, we surrender. But if it does work, maybe we can save our world. As the meeting ended, people began working on the strangest project in human history. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel worked together to build a machine that could show the aliens the truth about humanity far above. The alien fleet continued its slow circle around the moon. Admiral Kethver had no idea that the humans were preparing something that would change everything. In cities around the world, people prepared for the worst. They said goodbye to loved ones. They wrote letters they hoped someone would find. They looked up at the stars and wondered if this was the end of the human story. But deep underground, in secret laboratories, the greatest minds of humanity worked on a solution that no one could have imagined. The countdown continued. Less than 2 days remained. 24 hours before the alien deadline, the strange machine was ready. Dr. Kane stood in the underground laboratory, looking at the quantum resonance generator. It was 10 feet tall and covered in cables and lights. The machine hummed with power. "Are you sure this will work?" asked General Stevens. He had flown to Nevada to see the device for himself. "I am sure it will do something," Kane replied. "But I am not sure what that something will be." Dr. Santos checked the computer readings. The quantum field is stable. The dimensional barriers are thin but holding. We can send a signal through them, and the aliens will see it? Asked Colonel Wright. The whole galaxy will see it, Dr. Griffin said quietly. This signal will travel faster than light. It will reach every star system within 1,000 light years. President Rodriguez arrived at the facility. She looked tired but determined. "Is it time?" "Yes, Madam President." Secretary Carter is ready to record the message. In another room, Secretary of Defense William Carter sat in front of a camera. He was a calm man with gray hair and a strong voice. Behind him, the American flag hung on the wall. "Are we recording?" He asked. "Yes, sir." "When you are ready." Carter looked directly into the camera. "To the Galactic Empire and all who can hear this message. This is Earth's only warning. Leave our solar system immediately or face the consequences. We are not the helpless species you believe us to be." The message was sent to the quantum resonance generator. Dr. Kane's hands moved across the controls. "Beginning dimensional probe," he said, activating resonance field. The machine began to glow. The lights in the laboratory flickered. Power cables sparked. The air itself seemed to vibrate. "Dimensional barriers are weakening," Dr. Santos reported. "I am detecting quantum signatures from parallel dimensions." On the screens around the room, images began to appear. They showed Earth, but different versions of Earth. In some, the continents had different shapes. In others, the moon was a different color. But in all of them, humans existed. "Lock onto the strongest signals," Kane ordered. "Show them what we found." The images became clearer. In one dimension, Earth was covered in massive cities that reached into space. Humans in silver suits walked among buildings that seemed to be made of light. In another dimension, Earth was dark and covered in metal. Huge ships filled the sky. These humans had conquered death itself and lived forever. The most frightening image showed Earth surrounded by broken planets. This version of humanity had learned to destroy entire worlds with their minds. They floated in space without ships, their eyes glowing with power. "My God," whispered Colonel Wright. "Are these really other versions of us?" "Yes," said Dr. Griffin. "And they are all connected to us. We are all the same species, just living different lives in different realities." The alien fleet near the moon detected the signal immediately. Admiral Kethver stared at his screens in horror. "What are they doing?" he asked. "Sir, they are broadcasting." "On quantum frequencies," said Commander Veltar. "The signal is reaching every corner of the galaxy." "Show me what they are sending." The images appeared on the alien ship's main screen. Kethver's forearms began to shake. He had conquered many worlds, but he had never seen anything like this. First image showed humans in space, but they were not in ships. They were flying through the vacuum with their own power. Their eyes glowed with blue fire. One of them pointed at a planet, and the planet exploded. The second image showed Earth surrounded by thousands of ships. But these were not ordinary ships. They were made of living metal that moved like snakes. The humans who controlled them had pale skin and black eyes. They were harvesting energy from stars. The third image was the worst. It showed humans who had become something else. They were tall and thin, with skin that looked like starlight. They stood in the ruins of what had once been a great empire. Bodies of other species lay around them. These humans had decided that other intelligent life was a threat and had eliminated it. "Commander, what are the quantum readings?" Kethver asked. "Sir, these are not recordings. These are real-time images from parallel dimensions. The humans are showing us what they are in other realities." Back on Earth, the transmission continued. Dr. Kane watched the readings carefully. "The barriers are holding, but barely. We need to end this soon." "Wait," said Dr. Santos. "I am detecting something else. The aliens are not the only ones watching." New signals appeared on the screens. They were coming from all over the galaxy. Hundreds of different species were receiving the transmission. "Who are they?" asked President Rodriguez. "Advanced civilizations," Kane replied. "They are seeing the same things the aliens are seeing. They are learning the truth about humanity." Far across the galaxy, on a planet called Zerion Prime, the High Council of the Galactic Empire watched the transmission in shocked silence. These were the rulers of 1,000,000 worlds. They had thought they were the most powerful beings in the universe. "Are the images real?" asked the first speaker. "Our quantum analysts confirm it," replied the science minister. "These humans exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. In most realities, they are peaceful, but in some, they are the most dangerous species that has ever existed. What do? We pray that the humans in this dimension remain peaceful." The transmission from Earth continued. The final image showed the most peaceful version of humanity. They had learned to heal planets instead of destroying them. They had made friends with other species. They had brought peace to the galaxy. But then the image changed. It showed the same peaceful humans, but their eyes were different. They looked sad and tired. A voice spoke over the image. "We chose to be peaceful," said Dr. Santos, her voice carrying across the galaxy. "We chose to heal instead of hurt. We chose to explore instead of conquer. But we are still human. We are still connected to all the other versions of ourselves." The final part of the message was delivered by Dr. Kane. "If you force us to change, we will become something else. Something you do not want to face. This is our only warning." The transmission ended. The quantum resonance generator powered down. The laboratory was silent, except for the hum of computers. "Did it work?" asked General Stevens. Before anyone could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the facility. Captain Morrison's voice came over the radio from Jupiter Station. "Earth Command, this is Jupiter Station. The alien fleet is moving. They are ... They are turning around. They are leaving the solar system." Everyone in the laboratory cheered. They had done it. They had scared away the most powerful empire in the galaxy without firing a single shot. But Dr. Kane did not celebrate. He looked at the quantum readings with worry. "The dimensional barriers are still weak," he said. "We need to be careful. The other versions of humanity are still out there, and now they know about us too. Admiral Kethver stood on the bridge of his ship as it prepared to leave the solar system. He had sent an emergency message to the High Council. The response had been immediate and clear. Retreat immediately. Sir, what do we tell the fleet? Asked Commander Veltar. Tell them the truth. We are not fighting humans. We are fighting a species that exists in multiple realities. A species that has the power to become our worst nightmare. As the alien fleet jumped into hyperspace, Earth continued to spin peacefully. In space, the humans had won their first battle with the galaxy, but they had also revealed a secret that would change everything. The universe now knew that humanity was not just another species. They were something far more dangerous and far more wonderful than anyone had imagined. Admiral Kethver stood in his private quarters aboard the Dominion's Edge. The ship was moving away from Earth at maximum speed, but he could not stop thinking about what he had seen. His hands shook as he poured himself a drink. The door chimed. Enter, he said. Commander Veltar walked in. Her usual confident manner was gone. Sir, we have received responses from across the galaxy. Every major civilization has seen the human transmission. What are they saying? They are afraid, sir. The Altarian Republic has closed its borders. The Centauri Federation has recalled all their exploration fleets. Even the Andromedans have sent a message of concern. Kethver set down his drink. In 300 years of conquest, I have never seen anything like this. The humans showed. You has things that should not exist. Sir, our science teams have analyzed the quantum data. The readings are real. Those other versions of humanity actually exist in parallel dimensions. The Admiral walked to his window. Space stretched endlessly before him. How many dimensions did they show us? 47 different realities. In 12 of them, humans had become the dominant species in their galaxy. In 8, they had eliminated all other intelligent life. In 3, they had transcended physical existence entirely. And in our dimension, they chose to be peaceful. But the connection between all versions is real. If something threatens them badly enough, they could change. On Earth, the celebration was ending. People had danced in the streets when the alien fleet left. But now the scientists understood what they had really done. Dr. Kane sat in his laboratory, studying the quantum readings. The dimensional barriers around Earth were still weak. Through the gaps, he could sense the other versions of humanity. Some were curious about his dimension. Others were angry that he had revealed their existence. Richard, you need to see this, said Dr. Santos. She pointed to her computer screen. I am detecting quantum signatures from human colonies. What colonies? We do not have colonies. Not in our dimension, but the other versions of us do. And they are trying to communicate. The screen flickered. Words appeared, but they were not in any Earth language. Slowly, the words changed into English. We know what you did, the message said. You showed the galaxy our existence. Some of us are not happy about this. Kane typed a response. We had no choice. The aliens would have destroyed us. You could have fought. You could have become like us. We chose a different path. The conversation continued for hours. Through the quantum connection, Kane learned about the other versions of humanity. In one dimension, humans had developed time travel and used it to prevent alien civilizations from ever evolving. In another, they had built machines that could consume entire stars for energy. The most disturbing conversation was with a version of humanity that had become pure energy. They existed as living thoughts that could possess other beings. They had taken control of their entire galaxy without anyone knowing. Why do you remain weak? They asked. We are not weak. We are different, Kane replied. Different is dangerous. The galaxy knows about us now. They will try to destroy you before you can become like us. Meanwhile, in the deepest levels of the Pentagon, General Stevens was having his own problems. Reports were coming in from around the world. A quantum resonance had affected more than just the dimensional barriers. "Sir, we have a situation," said Colonel Wright. "Our psychic research subjects are reporting strange dreams. They are seeing things from other dimensions." "What kind of things?" "Memories that are not their own. Knowledge they should not have. Some of them are describing technologies that do not exist in our world." Stevens rubbed his temples. "Are they dangerous?" "Not yet, but Dr. Kane thinks the effect might spread. If more humans start accessing memories from other dimensions, our society could change very quickly." The problem was worse than they thought. Around the world, sensitive individuals were beginning to experience what scientists called dimensional bleed. They were gaining knowledge and memories from their other selves. Dr. Emma Foster worked at a research facility in California. She had been studying the psychological effects of the quantum transmission. Her findings were disturbing. "The human mind is not designed to handle multiple realities," she told her team. When the barriers weakened, some people began to remember things from other versions of themselves. "What kind of things?" asked her assistant. "A farmer in Iowa suddenly knows how to build fusion reactors. A teacher in Maine is drawing blueprints for weapons that do not exist. A child in Texas is speaking a language that no one recognizes, but our computers say it is the language of the humans in Dimension 43. The effects were spreading. Every day, more people reported strange dreams and new knowledge. The government tried to keep it secret, but the changes were too obvious to hide. Dr. Kane received an urgent call from President Rodriguez. "Richard, we need to talk. The situation is getting worse." "I know, Madam President. The dimensional barriers are not healing. If anything, they are getting weaker. Can you fix this?" "I am trying, but the quantum field is very unstable. The other versions of humanity are affecting our reality just by existing." "What does that mean for us?" Kane was quiet for a moment. "It means we might not be able to remain peaceful much longer. The knowledge from other dimensions is changing us. Some of the changes are good, but others are dangerous." The conversation was interrupted by an alarm. Captain Morrison's voice came over the radio from Jupiter Station. "Earth Command, we have a problem. I am detecting new quantum signatures near Saturn. Something is coming through." "Coming through from where?" asked the President. "From another dimension. I think one of the other versions of humanity is trying to cross over." The fear in Morrison's voice was clear. If the aggressive versions of humanity could cross dimensions, Earth's peaceful way of life would end. Dr. Griffin worked frantically on a solution. "We need to strengthen the barriers," he said. "But to do that, we need to use the quantum resonance generator again. Is that safe?" asked Dr. Santos. "No. Each time we use it, the barriers get weaker. But if we do not use it, something worse might come through." As the scientific teams worked on the problem, the Galactic Empire was having its own crisis. The High Council met in emergency session for the first time in 2,000 years. "The humans have created a galaxy-wide panic," said the first speaker. 17 civilizations have requested protection from the Empire. "But how can we protect anyone from beings that exist in multiple dimensions?" "We cannot," said the War Minister. "If the humans decide to become aggressive, we have no defense against them. Then what do? We hope they remain peaceful, and we prepare for the worst." The meeting was interrupted by urgent news. The Empire's quantum monitoring stations had detected something new. The dimensional barriers around Earth were failing. "Sir, we are detecting quantum instabilities throughout the Sol system," reported the Science Minister. "The barriers between dimensions are breaking down." "What does that mean?" "It means the peaceful humans might not be able to contain the aggressive ones much longer. If the barriers collapse completely, all versions of humanity could exist in the same dimension. The implications were terrifying. A galaxy that had feared one version of humanity would now face dozens of them. On Earth, the countdown to disaster had begun. The quantum resonance generator was ready for another use, but no one knew if it would save the world or destroy it. Dr. Kane stood before the machine, his hand on the activation switch. "This is our last chance," he said. "If this does not work, we will have to face whatever comes through those barriers." The fate of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, rested on the decision of one tired scientist in a hidden laboratory beneath the Nevada desert. The Galactic Empire's High Council Chamber was the largest room in the known universe. Representatives from thousands of worlds sat in floating platforms that stretched as far as the eye could see. But today, the vast space felt small and crowded. With fear. First, Speaker Zareth stood at the center. He was ancient, even by galactic standards, and had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations. But nothing had prepared him for this moment. "The Sol system must be quarantined," he announced. "No Empire vessel will approach within 50 light years of Earth. This decision is final." A representative from the Altarian Republic raised a tentacle. "First Speaker, with respect, we have conquered thousands of worlds. Why should we fear one small planet?" "Because," Zareth replied, "this is not about one planet. This is about a species that exists across multiple realities. We have seen what they can become." The chamber filled with worried whispers. For the first time in 2 millennia, the Empire was retreating from a single world. "The official record will state that the Sol system contains dangerous space anomalies," Zareth continued. "The true reason is classified at the highest level. Anyone who violates the quarantine will be tried for crimes against the Empire." Meanwhile, Admiral Kethvar received his orders aboard the Dominion's Edge. The message was short and clear. "Establish a perimeter around the Sol system and make sure no one gets in or out." "Sir, this is unprecedented," said Commander Veltar. "We have never retreated from a primitive world." "The humans are not primitive," Kethvar replied. "They are something we do not understand, something that should not exist." The Admiral walked to his personal files and sealed them with the highest security code. His report would become legend in the Empire's archives. Species designation: humanity. Status: avoid at all costs. Threat level: galactic extinction event. On Earth, Dr. Kang made his final decision. His hand moved to the quantum resonance generator's control panel. The machine hummed to life one last time. "Beginning dimensional barrier reinforcement," he said. "All personnel, prepare for quantum." Feedback. The laboratory filled with light. The walls vibrated. Through the quantum field, Kane could sense the other versions of humanity watching. Some were angry, others were curious. A few seemed almost proud. "Barriers are strengthening," reported Dr. Santos. "The dimensional rifts are closing." But the process was not without cost. As the barriers grew stronger, the knowledge that humans had gained from other dimensions began to fade. The farmer in Iowa forgot how to build fusion reactors. The teacher in Maine's weapon blueprints became meaningless scribbles. The child in Texas returned to speaking only English. "It is working," said Dr. Griffin. "We are sealing ourselves back into our own dimension." However, the separation was not complete. Deep in the quantum field, pathways remained open. They were small and hidden, but they were there. Earth's humanity would always have a connection to their other selves, even if they could not feel it. President Rodriguez arrived at the laboratory as the process finished. "Is it over?" she asked. "The immediate crisis is over," Kane replied. "But the galaxy knows about us now. That knowledge will not disappear." "What happens next?" "We learn to live with the consequences." The Empire will leave us alone, but they will be watching. Other civilizations will study us from a distance. We have become the most feared species in the galaxy without firing a single shot. Captain Morrison's voice came over the radio from Jupiter Station. Earth Command, the alien fleet is moving away. They are setting up some kind of perimeter around our solar system. Are they threatening us? Asked General Stevens. No, sir. They are keeping other ships away from us. I think they are protecting the galaxy from us, not the other way around. The truth was stranger than anyone had imagined. The Galactic Empire, which had conquered thousands of worlds, was now serving as Earth's unwilling guardian. They would make sure no one disturbed the humans, and not out of kindness, but out of fear. Dr. Kane began destroying his research. The quantum resonance generator was dismantled. The dimensional data was erased. The secrets of interdimensional travel were locked away forever. Why are you doing this? Asked Dr. Santos. Because some knowledge is too dangerous to keep, Kane replied. We have seen what we can become. That is enough. But we could learn so much from the other dimensions. We could advance our civilization by thousands of years. Yes, and we could also become monsters. The peaceful path is harder, but it is the right one. As the last pieces of the machine were destroyed, Kane felt a strange sensation. For just a moment, he could sense his other selves across the dimensions. Some were destroying similar machines. Others were building new ones. All of them understood that this moment would define their future. The connection faded, but not completely. Kane knew that somewhere in the back of his mind, the link would always exist. Humanity would remain connected across the dimensions, but they would choose how to use that connection. 3 months later, life on Earth had returned to normal. People went to work, children went to school, and the world continued to spin. But everyone knew that something had changed. The sky looked different now that they knew it was being watched. In secret government meetings, officials discussed the new reality. Earth was no longer just another planet. They were the peaceful version of the most dangerous species in the galaxy. We have a responsibility, President Rodriguez told her cabinet. The galaxy is afraid of us. We must prove that their fear is wrong. How do we do that? Asked Secretary Carter. By remaining who we are. By choosing peace even when war would be easier. By showing the universe that humanity can be trusted. Dr. Collins, who had first received the alien message, was now head of the new Department of Interdimensional Studies. Her job was to monitor the quantum field around Earth and watch for signs of dimensional activity. The barriers are holding, she reported to the president. But we detect small fluctuations every day. The other versions of humanity are still there, still watching us. Are they a threat? Not directly. But if we ever face another crisis like the alien invasion, the barriers might weaken again. We need to be prepared for that possibility. Across the galaxy, the effects of Earth's warning continued to spread. Civilizations that had never heard of humans now knew their names. Scientists studied the quantum recordings, trying to understand how one species could exist in multiple dimensions. The Andromedans, who were known for their advanced technology, sent a message to Earth. It was simple: we respect your choice. To remain peaceful. If you ever need allies, we will consider it. Other species were less friendly. The vegan empire began developing weapons designed specifically to fight interdimensional beings. The Tau Ceti Federation started evacuating planets near human space, but most civilizations simply waited and watched. They wanted to see what the peaceful humans would do with their terrible power. Admiral Kethver completed his final report on the Sol System incident. His words would be studied by military leaders for generations. The humans possessed the ability to access versions of themselves from parallel dimensions. In most realities, they are peaceful explorers and builders. But In some, they are conquerors who have eliminated all other intelligent life in their galaxy. We do not know what triggers the change from peaceful to aggressive, but we must assume that sufficient threat could cause it. Recommendation: avoid all contact with humanity. Do not give them a reason to change. On Jupiter Station, Captain Morrison continued his watch. The alien perimeter ships were always there, dark shapes against the stars. Sometimes he wondered what they were thinking as they watched Earth. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the perimeter," reported Lisa Parker. "From the aliens? What do they want?" "It is not a threat, sir. They are asking permission to study our quantum signature from a distance. They want to understand how we exist in multiple dimensions." Morrison thought for a moment. "Tell them they can observe, but they cannot come closer. And remind them that we are still watching them too." The message was sent, and the alien response was immediate. "Understood. We will maintain respectful distance. Thank you for your restraint." It was the first friendly communication between humans and the Galactic Empire. A small step, but an important one. Dr. Kane, now retired from government service, taught physics at a small college. His students had no idea that their professor had once held the fate of the galaxy in his hands. He preferred it that way. One day, a student asked him about the alien invasion. "Professor, do you think they will come back?" Kane looked out the window at the peaceful campus. "I do not think so. We showed them something that changed their minds about us." "What did we show them?" "We showed them who we could become if we chose to. Sometimes the threat of power is more effective than power itself." The student seemed confused, so Kane tried to explain differently. "Imagine you are walking alone at night, and you see someone approaching you. You might be afraid. But if that person shows you that they are carrying a weapon, but chooses not to use it, you learn two things. First, they could hurt you if they wanted to. Second, they choose not to hurt you. Which lesson is more important?" "The second one?" "Exactly. The galaxy learned that humanity could be dangerous, but we chose to be peaceful. That choice is what protects us now." As the years passed, Earth developed new tech.